In every superhero movie, some characters are very hard to forget. Sometimes they might have only one scene, they don't have names, nor do they stand on the red carpet with the other big stars. But they are very, very essential to any superhero movie. Interactions with these characters always bring out more nuance to the heroes. Take this scene from the CW show Superman and Lois.
Here you go, friend.
Thanks. Cool costume.
Thanks. My mom made it for me.
This is the most endearing and characterized Superman we have had in years before James Gunn's input. Or this one with Peter Parker.
How'd you do that?
Work out, plenty of rest, eat your green vegetables.
That's what my mom is always saying. I just never actually believed her.
Most of this interaction would feel minor to some audience, but these interactions are used to establish the type of person the protagonist is. We can't really have a human moment when the superhero is fighting the big bad, but these little interactions do that perfectly. Sometimes they are used as the reaction shot. We see the hero perform an incredible feat, and then the camera immediately cuts away to show us a person on the street.
Oh, he stole that guy's pizza!
This isn't just filler, it's a deliberate choice. That reaction shot is our cue. It tells us, what you just saw was amazing in this universe. It guides our emotional response and validates the protagonist's presence. In a world with flying men, there are still things people find quite cool. Sometimes, it's the main reason these background characters exist, to react to inhuman things, or make the main character seem a lot smarter and stronger. All that isn't inherently bad, but that's just a boring way to use them. Let's talk about the trope I love the most. In the first Avengers, when Loki made his grand appearance, he terrorized the people at this event. He was kind of the first godlike threat these people had experienced. Then this guy stood up. This is Kenneth Tiger. He has been in a lot of 90s films, and this is his debut in the MCU. And what can he do to Loki? Nothing. Or this guy who stood up to Dr. Octopus. Both create powerful moments in Marvel's history, because they did this without knowing if there's a hero who would save them. In The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter saved this kid from his bullies, taught him about standing up for himself, and later on in this movie, after the disappearance of Spider-Man, this child stood up to the Rhino. Each of these characters would have been mauled over in 3 seconds or less. They are powerless and would hold no grounds on their own, but this is to show that these people are not irrelevant.
There are no men like me. There are always men like you.
And both Spider-Man 2 and The Amazing Spider-Man, there were scenes where the people saved the hero. In the train scene, people stop him from falling off and promise to keep his identity. In The Amazing Spider-Man, the construction workers gave him a clear path. Both these scenes show the undeniable impact of Spider-Man on this city, and they are the most powerful scenes in the movie. In any story, but especially in superhero films, the stakes are what we believe is on the line. Will the hero succeed? What will be lost if they fail? I did a video on this topic, so please check it out. But there's a big difference between being told the stakes and genuinely feeling them. This is where the use of background characters becomes the most important tool a filmmaker has. Think of it like this. A city is an abstract concept. The people living in it are what make it a home. The scale of the stakes isn't measured by the size of the explosion, but by the number of human stories inside it. Filmmakers use two main approaches to create stakes, and they reveal a lot about the story's priorities. The first is intimate stakes, achieved through specificity. Let's go back to the train scene in Spider-Man 2. The danger is huge, a runaway train, but the director, Sam Raimi, makes us feel it by constantly showing us specific people. Later, the same individuals gently catching an unconscious Spider-Man. We are not watching a generic crowd in peril. We are watching distinct human beings. This uses a psychological principle called the identifiable victim effect. We are hardwired to empathize more deeply with a single, specific person than with a large, anonymous group. By giving us faces to care about, the film makes the danger feel immediate and real. Spider-Man isn't just saving passengers. He's saving these people, which in turn saves him. The second approach is abstract stakes, often shown through wide shots of mass destruction. This is where some films stumble. In the climax of films like Man of Steel, the scale is immense. Buildings topple like dominoes, and the collateral damage is unquestionably vast. However, Zack Snyder focuses on the spectacle of the destruction itself, the CGI effects of crumbling concrete and steel, rather than on the human cost within it. We get few, if any, reaction shots from people inside those buildings. They become what filmmakers call background extras, faceless props rather than characters. This triggers a different kind of psychological response, compassion fade. When a tragedy feels too vast and impersonal, our brains actually shut down emotionally. We become numb because the problem feels too big to process. The stakes are astronomically high on paper, but because they lack a human anchor, they feel weightless and oddly impersonal. We know intellectually that people are dying, but the film never makes us feel it. To top this off, the next movie plays Superman as a hero, scratch that, as a messiah. This is the fundamental misunderstanding of the character and superheroes in general. These characters should feel like real people who just happen to have a superhuman-like personality running around their city.
How much?
You're that spider guy.
Spider-Man.
Huh?
I'm Spider-Man.
It's the most effective world building. It's about answering a simple question. What is it actually like to live here? For a superhero film, the most convincing special effect isn't a CGI monster. It's a world that feels lived in and continues to exist even when the hero isn't on screen. This is where background characters become essential. They are the living, breathing texture of the world, making it feel authentic and grounded. This is one of the reasons I love made-up locations in these movies. When using already established locations, filmmakers would want to add in elements of that place, making the people feel like they can actually live there. But with made-up locations, you can do all sorts of things to the place. And most movies get it terribly wrong. In the Dark Knight trilogy, Gotham looks like any average city in America, and the people here feel normal. This city is supposed to be the scum of the earth, and the people are supposed to reflect that. I have many problems with Thor, but this one pisses me off the most. This is supposed to be a mythical place, but we don't get to see it in its glory. The first movie covers everything in gold, and the later movies dull it down. But we get nothing from its people, their culture, or their lifestyle. For over 4 movies, only one tries to acknowledge that people in Asgard are different from the rest of the universe. But sadly, the movie was as forgetful as the villain.
Alone would advance Earth science by decades.
Jane?
I'm so taking this apart.
Jane,
What?
you have their ball.
Oh.
When we see background characters going about their lives in ways that acknowledge the universe's rules, it helps us believe in that universe more completely. They make the world feel interconnected. Their conversations are the whispers of the public, giving us a sense of the broader society's mood, fears, and opinions. This creates a rich, layered backdrop against which the main drama plays out. This is where James Gunn's Superman and Matt Reeves' Batman take the spotlight. People in a Metropolis just happen to have a Superman they trust. But at the same time, they all have jobs, beliefs, and lives outside of being shocked that Superman just flies through. People are working for Lex. I assume he pays really, really well. They only get worried when Lex wants to end the world. But still, these people just clocked in, dog-walked Superman, and clocked out. James Gunn gave the people in Metropolis an identity, a place to stand, a decision to make. But first, before that, let me show you something. This is a kaiju. It breathes out fire and reaches a height of 319 feet and a mass of 18,397,576 pounds. The news stated it appeared in the morning and has been growing ever since. What did the people of Metropolis do? They went on their daily activity, hoping not to get swished on the way to work. This girl is worried about Superman, right? That's cute, but she is standing right next to the kaiju. This child saw this thing and said, "I'm gonna go play outside." I mentioned this in my previous video on how these characters carry the emotional stake in the Superman movie. When the video dropped, the shift in atmosphere was palpable. People slowly distanced themselves from him, taking their children away. Some were shocked, sad, and angry. Everyone has a different reaction from the next person. This made Lex a real threat to Superman's identity. The people who once loved him looked at him like he was some kind of monster. And before this was resolved, some people still called out for him. Malik and the people of Jarhimpur still trusted him. In the pocket dimension, we met these guys.
Of political agitators private. Others, if more personal transgressions. Florette wrote a blog about me. There are few things I hate more than petty ex-girlfriends.
Neither of them knows anything about the video, and they haven't been influenced by Lex. So they know Superman is a good guy and feel somewhat sorry when he is tortured. But when they saw him trying to escape, knowing fully well that he might come back for them, they tried to alert the guards, hoping that they will charter favor from Lex.
What are you doing? Stop that!
He's doing something in here!
Guard! Guard! He's doing something!
No, you are not going to take me to this. I am the one that saw it first.
After this scene, we saw her with her mom, a scene that, if removed, doesn't really change anything, but it adds in the human element. These people all have lives that Lex put on a stop because they hurt his fragile ego. My best scene of this movie comes from here. When this woman drove off a destroying bridge in a beat-up car that had refused to start a moments ago, but a shared look from both of them. He looks very nervous and can't maintain eye contact since the video about his parents dropped. In contrast to how he saved people previously, he doesn't really have that same confidence. She looks back to see if he is okay. She knows about the video, but now she sees him as someone who wants to help. Background characters are always used to enhance the plot and to drive character development if done right. Matt Reeves' Batman used the people of Gotham to convey the theme of the movie. They are not just background extras or the mirror of the audience's reaction. They are the consequences of Batman's action. His fears, rage, resentment, vengeance, and lastly, trust. Every interaction Batman has always have a lasting impact on him and the audience. This film masterfully uses its background characters not as set dressing, but as the very fabric of the story, shaping its tone, its hero's journey, and its ultimate meaning. From the first frame, Matt Reeves immerses us in a Gotham that is less a normal city and more a rain-soaked, decaying ecosystem of fear and corruption. The camera, often from Batman's perspective, lingers on the faces of ordinary citizens, watching him with a mixture of awe, suspicion, and fear. The city isn't just sick, its people are suffering from a shared emotional wound, a deep-seated belief that no one is coming to save them. Consider the character of the new mayor's son at the funeral. Bruce isn't there to perform a heroic act. He is simply an observer, a mourner. But the boy's unwavering gaze locks onto Bruce's own. In that moment, through the child's eyes, he sees himself. No flashback, no pearls scattered on the floor, just them looking at each other in shared grief and pain. Still, it was he who took the first step to hold the hand of a masked man, when his father was also killed by one. At the end, Batman is no longer a solitary vigilante operating above the city. He is a part of it, literally shoulder to shoulder with its people. He becomes a conduit for their salvation, but also for their own innate resilience. His symbol evolves in real time, from one of vengeance to one of hope, because the people, in their moment of greatest need, showed him what they needed him to be. They were not a faceless mass to be protected from on high. They were individuals he had to stand with and lift up. In the end, the Batman argues that a hero is not defined by the shadows he lurks in, but by the light he helps create in others, and that light is reflected in the faces of the people he saves. The journey of a hero, from a figure of power to a symbol of hope, is a path that cannot be walked alone. It is a path that is constantly being shaped and defined by the reactions, the needs, and the courage of the ordinary people they encounter. This relationship is the silent contract at the heart of the genre, a contract brilliantly illustrated by the language of filmmaking itself. And some movies seem to forget that. A film like Endgame should be filled with these moments, but it just has a few of them. The Avengers lost, the whole world fell into chaos, but we never really saw the aftermath, the terror that should be present, the cleanups the Avengers had to do, the people that felt the most pain. But we jumped so far into the future to avoid all that work.
It's been 23 days since Thanos came to Earth.
World governments are in pieces. The parts that are still working are trying to take a census, and it looks like he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Thanos wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
This therapy scene was the only thing we got. But these people feel like they are just here to give Steve a reason to give a speech. One guy talked about his experience, and everyone nods like that was supposed to reflect how the whole world was feeling. The reason why Civil War was so good and works so well is that the Avengers were dealing with the direct aftermath of Ultron. but we never saw them deal with their biggest loss to Thanos. This is the ultimate act of visual storytelling.
Green. Green. Did you get that? That's good.
Do you want to grab one with me? I'm Ant-Man.
You think you fight for us? You just fight for yourself. Who's going to avenge my son, Stark? He's dead, and I blame you.
Every reaction shot of a terrified civilian, every wide pan of a celebrating crowd, and every intimate close-up on a single face in a sea of people is a deliberate choice. These choices are how filmmakers guide our emotional compass. They tell us not just what to look at, but how to feel about what we're seeing. This technique, often called using the crowd as a Greek chorus, roots the spectacle in human emotion. This brings us to the core psychological idea: a hero's legacy is not self-proclaimed. It is bestowed. It is a story written in the collective memory of the community they protect. The cheers of a crowd, the quiet thanks of a survivor, or the defiant stand of one brave citizen. These are the moments that truly validate a hero's mission. They transform a personal quest for justice or redemption into a public symbol of hope.
Nice work, kid.
This is why the background character is the invisible foundation. They are the living proof that the hero's struggle matters. They are the reason a hero chooses to get back up after being knocked down. In the end, the most superhuman power on display might not be flight or strength, but the ability to inspire courage, hope, and resilience in others. The superhero shows us what is possible, but it is the ordinary person who shows us why it matters.
It's good to have you back, Spider-Man.